Yes, indeed. Yeah. Mr. Puckett from one father to two other ones. Buddy, I tell you what, it's a little bit past our bedtime as some good old dads, but we got I guess what is actually the heavy hitter fight. I felt like it was going to be Atlanta versus Seattle, but New York, LAT. This is about to be a banger, man. The Subliners off of the chip, the Thieves, but with the chip on their shoulder, considering the top 6 finish that they had at Major #1. But this is about to be a slobber knocker. Are you ready, my man? This is about to be a great way to close out the day.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one, man. Obviously, we got the best team in the game currently in New York versus the best team last year in the LA Thieves. New York just played with tremendous pacing, and it's usually around their SMGs. You see the stats right there from HyDra. 1.22 overall KD on Fortress Hardpoint. That guy is a menace. You have to make sure you're shutting that guy down, and the Death touched on it perfectly. The guy that I'm looking at to even up the matchup has to be Kenny. This is a guy who has the ability to take over games when he's playing at his best. He has to do it here.
Yeah, without question, right? As we fly in here for P1 on Fortress, it is a great opening team fight victory there for the Thieves, but strictly based off of the vetoes, right? When we talk about how we're going to have Fortress for our opening 2 respawns, it does put a major focus here onto Kenny. I think the Deaths touched on it quite a bit, right? He did not have the major one that he would have liked. A big focus is going to be onto his gameplay, onto his performance. And I want to say off the rip, Jay, he actually does have the tack out. So an interesting strat to kick off our P1 here.
Oh, yeah. When you're starting off on the better side, it's all about basically trapping them in. If you can get a clean 4 dead like the way that they have so far, you usually want to use that tack to hold down the long-distance gunfights. And Kenny starting off 4-0 is exactly what you want to do. NYSL do get the break. A couple of players from LA Thieves are going to spawn all the way across the map. They find the positioning of Octane, and this is where it starts getting scary if you are LA Thieves, because the aggression of New York is never going to slow down. If they're winning gunfight after gunfight, that's when their confidence level is going to reach a whole new level.
Yeah, it was a quick little 2v2. HyDra and KiSMET. Fantastic SMG duo from last season, continuing here into this title. Do a great job, at least at holding down the Thieves for the moment, but it is tack after tack after tack. Drazah and Kenny come away with 4 of their own duos either which way. This time it's the father and son combo that managed to break into hell themselves. Kenny, but we had some question marks. Jay starting off 7-0.
Exactly what you want to do if you're Quavo. Ken, already 7-0, picks up that cruise missile. Great time over towards this P2 hard point, but now it gets a little bit more difficult because now you're going into a P3. So far on this map, specifically New York, our 3rd in hold percentage. You know how impactful this P3 and how difficult this P3 is to break. Let's see if LA Thieves can try to find an answer. It all starts with the first kill onto KiSMET. Now they do have the numbers advantage. This is where you're going to invest that cruise.
Yeah, perfect time to use it. P3, one of the best hard points in this game. And here comes the streak. Priestahh goes swanton diving over toward the pool. And that's actually going to be the only kill that they find. So Kenny pulls out the streak, lets the rest of his teammates try to do the work, and they all end up dropping. As Priestahh continues to fly around the map as he's picking up the pace. Now on 4 in a row himself, NYSL with a great answer back so far here at the Fountain.
This has been a flawless hold so far. They shut down the pressure from double doors. The SMGs are firing on all cylinders. Even KiSMET, he's feeling so good. He's at HyDra. I'm going to take you down, buddy. As New York are going to be able to take the lead right on back with a flawless P3 hold. Now off the rotation, Priestahh is able to sneak his way out, but he's going to get taken down by Kenny. So now New York have to work double time to try to get out of this trap. LA Thieves are fully set up. You have one player who's pushed out towards P1, but KiSMET, unfortunately, he invests his dead silence, not able to pick up the kill. Now all the rest of the players from New York had to slow it down a little bit.
And I know, Jay, that we are super early into this series, even to this hard point. I mean, what, we're jumping into P4 right now. But it feels like LAT are keeping pace. Like, there was a lot of questions, right? Talked about their Fortress hardpoint. The first time that they have played it so far throughout this season. And with the fast SMGs on the other side, the question marks around Kenny. I mean, Kenny is like 13-2, having a phenomenal game. Now on another spree, can have a cruise missile with just one more gunfight victory. These guys are keeping pace and honestly making New York work for every single bit of map positioning. Thankfully, they will find a few in the feed and rush on into cannons, but this has been an impressive start from the Thieves nonetheless.
Oh, yeah. Look at the stat line from Kenny, 14-4 compared to the stat line of Skyz, who's currently sitting at 1-10.
Oh, wow.
When you're playing like that, if you are Kenny, this is a very difficult team to take on down, but New York, they get the break on towards P4. Final couple of seconds, Octane is able to find that last kill, but New York are thinking big picture. We're going to win that rotation over towards P5. You have one player in Drazah working his way all the way around back statue. try to set up this pinch as New York thinking that no one's going to be in towards the back. This is going to be a freebie for Drazah. The break is in.
Yeah, free gunfight victory. A lot of crosses to watch. And right now, Thieves, they are holding down every single angle. And really there from Drazah's POV. You see Kenny getting up and aggressive in the face of the opposition. He has absolutely so far been the story of this Fortress hardpoint. Now at 15-5, all out aggression. And he is piecing, as you said, Jay, everybody right now for New York, as they've got all 4 players here. So they've got a great little thing going. The question is, can they actually break hold and get something inside of the hardpoint? Kenny and Drazah answer back with a few of their own. Priestahh will settle the score as the hill will lay vacant. A solid lead after a few HPs are in the book. Thieves on top, and right now New York, they hold spawns for next. Or for
P2, New York are trying to play for the trap as they take down Octane. That was the biggest kill because Octane was the only player that spawns out towards back art. So now you know where everyone is on the side of LA Thieves. You just have to hold them in towards tables, hold them in towards maps, hold them in towards double doors. And so far, they're doing a great job of doing so. Almost down by 10 points. New York are going to try to take this lead right on back. Great shots from Envoy, not able to pick up that kill, but so far New York are slaying to the best of their abilities. It's everybody besides Skyz. If Skyz starts to turn off, New York will be at a different level.
He will indeed, but another 4 down again in favor of the Thieves. Thankfully for New York, they don't lose that spawn in the back. However, KiSMET's going to be a little bit late. They're going to join the rest of the party. Could actually end up benefiting the Subliners in the end, but uncharacteristic here for Mr. Caesar Skyz Bueno, as he at least is able to put another one on the board. Now at 3-12, he'll be setting up for that next hard point over at P2 toward the gallows. As they'll go ahead and send HyDra forward, try to get him in a bit of a better pace. I think the Thieves have to really work for it. However, he drops in the back, first layer down. And here come the Thieves again, Jay.
Yeah, they're pushing right up the street. KiSMET at least finds one, but the Thieves are able to flip those spawns. Now the only player left on this side of the map is going to be Priestahh. At least takes down one, but LA Thieves, they successfully get another break. Now we're going to continuously try to grow this lead. You take care of Priestahh. Now you know the pressure from New York is going to be all out towards the front. The pinch is trying to come in from Octane. He gets taken care of. Trey's going back and forth. Kenny's just going to fly in. Drazah finds 2, and that's going to be another break from LA Thieves. They're just growing this lead more and more. You're basically going to almost force New York to hit that early rotation to P3 and have to have the same response that they did on the first rotation of hard points.
And you can tell how annoying it must be if you are New York to see that amount of time available and having to back on up, as they will have to be ready and prepared now toward the fountain. They've been bruised and battered so far here on Fortress, and they need a reply. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding right now with New York.
Yeah.
Top boat looking at me.
I have a streak. Do we have trophies?
I don't have a trophy. No, he's on left. I'm one shot. Help me.
I have a trophy on time. I have a trophy on time.
Alright.
Look on the left.
I'm running up on you. Yeah, I was one shot, bro.
Circle then.
There's two there.
One more circle and close on you.
Nice, there's two. I spawned out here.
Close on me. Close on me.
I spawned on green.
He's on me.
Oh, let me. Look at me.
Nice. Go shot. Nice. I have
P5. I have a trophy on you.
Yeah, watch left, Caesar. Watch left.
I have left. On me. Left, P1 right now. P1 is challenging. He's on the box. Nice. One more P1. Last guy P1, Sam.
Watch.
I'm watching P1. Yeah, I got it.
Get all this time. Get all this time.
Green. Yo, Sam is P1 on me. Challenge me. Lay down. Dead.
I'm stunned.
I'm two of them. One shot. They can spawn green.
Top green. Yep, top green. Nice. Good job. More.
P1.
Sorry, just stay out.
Bench. I'm gonna go right.
I spawn barn. They're gonna keep spawning green.
Open them. I'm getting off the Scrapz. They're gonna be green, right?
One more P1, Kenny.
P1's crossing.
He's bench.
Listen, I'm going.
Someone get time, someone go to the back.
I'm going stage. I got top rock. Someone get time.
We'll keep in the back right now.
I'm gonna help the back. I'm getting time from the back door.
They can be top dead.
I feel. They could be on me.
I'm seeing stage open or no? Stage open or no?
I have my bottom. I've cat on me. I'm one shot.
Right.
One P1.
Watch my bottom mark.
I have P1.
Give me your single step. I'm holding off angle. He can't shoot me.
Yo, don't see you in P1.
He's out. Bottom up.
I'm watching. Get off. I'm getting off.
What's your
back door and P2.
Just slide. You're good.
Yeah, backstairs around. Backstairs.
I have your help left.
Backstairs. You got me. Top rocks.
And right there, they're listening with New York. Beautiful communication for them to get a great hold on towards that P3. They're making sure they were emphasizing the important kills, knowing that they have to hold down double doors. They get a flawless hold at P3. They win the rotation over towards P4. The LA Thieves with a lot of aggression up towards street. They execute the break. Even though New York got right back into this game, LA Thieves are just a step ahead right now in this hard point.
They are indeed. Drazah now on 5 in a row again. I continue to point you to Kenny's POV, to his score line.
Oh my.
31 and 14. Question marks no longer are going to be on to Quavo's performance. He is having himself a game. Envoy, he's happy to sit right now in the Jansport, right now in the backpack. Kenny has arrived. Sure, the bandana's got to be somewhere in the back pocket, maybe somewhere off screen, as Thieves are within 15 of calling game. Octane able to put away a double. 10 more seconds to go. New York starting to scramble as this one looks to be over. It looks to be done. Maybe one last hurrah if you are the Subliners. And there you go. A commanding start for Thieves, and Kenny specifically.
Oh, aLLeY Thieves, they just made easy work in that map number 1. The only hard point that they ended up losing on was that P3. Every other hard point, they got a good chunk of time off P1. They dominated at P2. And then even with New York getting the spawns for P4, aLLeY Thieves found break after break. Just got to give a big shout out to Kenny, man. I've been watching Ace for these last couple of days. The guy's been in there every single night putting in work. 33 and 16 with that SMG in hand. Also whipped out the TAC 56 when needed. He was just Mr. Do It All for the LA roster on this map number 1. And now this kind of puts New York in a very scary situation, because New York, they were thinking Fortress Hardpoint, okay, we're definitely going to go up 1-0. These guys do not play this map. They have never played this map. This should be a pretty easy one. But now they find themselves down 0-1 going into an aLLeY Search and Destroy where they have yet to play that map on the side of New York. aLLeY Thieves do have a 1-3 record, but at least they got some reps on it. Yeah, they have something to work on. But now if you are New York, basically you shot yourself right in the foot, man. It's just, this is your map. You had to come out and win it. And unfortunately, aLLeY Thieves and Kenny, all on the back of Kenny, make it happen in map number 1.
Oh my gosh, he did indeed. I mean, we were talking about that coming into this series, right? Was the mixture of the vetoes. I mean, not to go super in depth with it, but you and I were like, okay, Fortress Hardpoint, Thieves, you don't have any reps. New York even actually decides to ban Hotel, a very good control map for them, to go ahead and play Fortress. Why? Because they would rather play Kenny, they'd rather play Thieves on a very SMG centered map. Well, we're seeing how things are turning out. They lose the opening hardpoint. Now I'm sure they're definitely thinking twice already about that game 3 control. And then, as you said, partner, the search destroy. I mean, it felt like New York felt very comfortable in the vetoes, hoping that they could just get a search destroy victory here in game number 2. But already the Thieves are showing us that nothing is guaranteed at all. A phenomenal performance here off the rip as they find themselves up 1-0 versus the defending champs.
Up 1-0. Now going into a search and destroy. If you are aLLeY Thieves, this has been the mode that you have been struggling with. This is the mode that basically got you knocked out at Major 1. And you're going up against a New York roster who have been kind of terrorizing a lot of teams in search and destroy. They have won their last 4 out of 5 S&Ds. None of them have been on aLLeY. So that's the only thing that scares me, because this is a pretty big map. When you're on the NYSL roster, a lot of their playmakers are HyDra and KiSMET, where they're just taking control of just being super aggressive on the map. But on a map like aLLeY, especially on your attacking rounds, you don't want to be super aggressive towards anywhere besides that A site. So I'm expecting aLLeY Thieves, with the reps that they currently have, even though it's not a winning record, to be prepared for anything. Right now, Kenny's playing at a totally different level. You see the young man, he's vibing. The bandana, like you said, it's got to be in the back pocket. He might have just got inspired by Simp's performance in that last series. Like he said, oh, Simp just went on a 16 kill streak. I'll start the map 14-2, no problem. So if you're aLLeY Thieves, you're feeling great. Smiles all across the board for those young men. And now if you are New York, you kind of find yourself in a difficult situation, down 0-1 by losing one of your best hard points, going into a search and destroy that you have yet to play on the season.
Yeah, you gotta feel a little checked, right? If you're the Subliners, just like, okay, we're gonna come out, play super aggressive, and I don't
know if they're singing Backstreet Boys in this one, but
I would doubt it. I would definitely doubt for right now. I don't think we're gonna do any singing. Maybe just a bit of comms, try to calm the team down a little bit. But, whew, sheesh, man. What you love to see. You love to see a competitive league. As the Subliners now handed a big test in front of them, but I don't know, man. Like when it comes down to aLLeY Search Destroy, I know you talked about it already, like the difference in terms of strategy, how aLLeY works. It's not a matter of just like, hey, I can go out, make a play. The reason why you can't do aLLeY is because everybody can hear everywhere that you are inside of the warehouse. How do you feel like the Subliners are going to elect to play this? Is it going to be more around the sniper play, around the outside? Do you think that there is potential here for New York to be a solid S&D team on aLLeY, given the players that they've got?
Oh yeah, without question, man. Like, you know, the Bulldog in KiSMET, he's going to be able to set up these play calls. It's not like, even though they haven't played it on the season, these guys are still getting reps, probably playing it in practice, probably a couple tournaments early on in the season. So they do have an understanding of how you want to play this. But this is a guy who I really wanted to talk about, is Envoy. He's the highest overall KD in Search and Destroy for this LA Thieves roster. But one thing that he really does struggle with is in that opening duel win percentage. In those first blood fights, he's only at a 35% win rate. So if you are Envoy, the way that he performed in that map number 1 wasn't really the best, but this is where he usually is able to take over the game. In S&D, he's the playmaker for this roster. He has to have a big performance here if he wants to go up 2-0.
Yeah, he absolutely does. The positive, I guess, if you are the LA Thieves, is I know we've talked about it a lot. Search Destroy historically has been the woes, really, when it comes down to this franchise, this particular team, right? But one positive is that they do sit at 500, if not higher, in every single game mode. So have at least been decent in S&D as well. Kenny starting things off hot as he ended in the hard point, starts things off with 2. Goes to the bottom side of the pool table, knowing the lineup that New York was looking to grab. An instant 4v2 and a bomb that's about to be planted. A difficult task indeed for Priestahh and HyDra.
Oh yeah, Priestahh and HyDra have their hands full with this one. 45 seconds on the clock into 2v4. All of LA Thieves not giving up anything easy. You get some information of where these players are attacking from. Octane's in a great position to at least find one. As time is starting to tick, HyDra, he is the SMG trying to be aggressive. Priestahh does find one, but he gets taken down and HyDra gets dropped. It all starts with Kenny. Obviously, we saw a bunch of rounds yesterday in Search and Destroy, specifically on this map, where that stun comes into courtyard and a sniper is pre-aiming down for a player crouching behind that pool table. But Kenny said, nope, I learned from yesterday. I'm going to lay down right below this pool table. You're not going to be able to spot me. He gets the first and then gets the second. Once it turns into a 4v2, New York, the 2 players left, we're trying to set up that flank. You just commit towards P. You get the bomb down. Clean round for Thieves to start us off.
I mean, why crouch when you can prone, right? I mean, hey.
Exactly. Lay on your belly.
You got lay on it. Works out well for him. Round number 1 going the way of Thieves. And now it's time for New York to take their first look at attack. As we said, a new experience for them. No official reps here on iLLeY Search. And they are already feeling the pain. Envoy starting things off well. We talked about the first blood percentage, the opening engagements between both of our SMG duos. And well, Envoy does eventually fall. He at least gets a bit of info, and it's a trade indeed once again for Kenny. Now at 3-0. Speaking of threes, and so many members alive that Thieves have for the moment. All up to Priestahh and Skyz as Octane looks to get more information.
Yeah, Octane, he got this player that was sitting in towards green, which was Skyz, to reposition. But across the map, Priestahh is able to find one. Works his way through bottom lockers, able to take down Drazah. So now it's a 2v2, 40 seconds to work with. Octane is at least trying to get some information of players trying to go towards B, but he shouldn't have been able to pick up anything. Free B bomb plant's going to go down for New York. 2v2 now. Oh, wow. I don't know if you're going to be able to take this guy off of this one.
Oh, God. Okay. It's the perfect shots on the Octane as well. Priestahh, I mean, hey, man, the thighs are going to be hurting tomorrow, but it's all worth it for a round of Search Destroy. Am I right, Kenny? 1v2, 20 seconds to work with. He has got to get going. And there is no shot, surely, that he takes down Priestahh from this POV. Tries to go for it.
Wait a minute.
Hold on. 15 seconds to go.
Too.
He's going to have to fly. He's going to have to fly. It's Skyz. Oh, Skyz is jumping. He's trying to watch those toes. Every bit of HP means a lot. And Kenny, a little bit of frustration. A frustration indeed, but Kenny doing a great job of at least taking down a few players, but New York with the time escape with the round.
That was great plays from New York, especially out of Skyz, because Octane, he was putting on a couple shots from Skyz when he was sitting at top party. Pops his dead silence, pushes up the ammo alley, tries to hit that flank, but Skyz gets out at the right time, which allows Priestahh to set up that flank, turn it into a 2v2. And if Octane just stays alive on their side of the map, or at least picks up any information of them attacking towards B, it's probably a totally different round. Or New York with the great mid-round adjustment to tie it up at 1.
Kenny not only sits on the spree, but he's also going to have the bomb on his back. So definitely a player to look out for. You want to see him keep on that spree. And sometimes with the objective, you put yourself in a world of pain. Octane! Pixel perfect on to Caesar. Cuts him away for another first blood there for LA. They've got positioning. They've got man advantage. We'll see if they can put that to good use and claim their second round.
And Drazah finds himself in a great position. He's all the way pushed up towards top AC. So now this should allow his teammates to get pushed up towards B. But does he read this player? And Priestahh works his way all the way about back. Rocks, he does not. Priestahh finds that kill. Makes it a 3v3. They do know his positioning, though. But the crossfire is set up. New York, with their teamwork, able to put themselves in a man advantage.
And Kenny as well, because he had that bomb. Awkward position to drop it in. And yeah, KiSMET able to find Octane. He's been a thorn in the side and says, you know what, let me try out that sniper for size. Envoy drops, and New York able to rebound off of what was an excellent beginning to this round for the Thieves. The sniper pick does not end up equaling out to a round. We get to watch it again, though. It was a nice snipe nonetheless, Jay.
It was. And let me tell you, Octane, he's the human turret. Even with the sniper in hand, the guy is probably not going to miss. Great shot coming in from Octane to at least find that first blood. But New York, now 2 rounds in a row where they have been in a 3v4 situation, were able to clutch up. 3 first bloods in favor of the Thieves only lead to 1 round in their favor. New York starting to get some momentum in a map that they have yet to play.
Oh, and Octane actually gets a very nice little cross there. Is going to feed that information over to Drazah, who should have at least 1 kill for free. Oh, he shot everybody, but okay, there we go. I was going to say he shoots everybody, only gets 1 kill, but the rest of the teammates are there to drop him a handful of assists. There for the Alaskan Assassin, is now it'll be all up to HyDra. And a quick little 1v4, but really just great usage there. The line of sight from Octane was absolutely superb. And from there, the Thieves, they get the first blood, and now they get the round.
Yeah, that all comes down to Octane's positioning right there towards top AC. Once he picks up that information of 2 players attacking towards top mid, you allow Drazah to slowly push up that ammo alley. Finds the timing, jumps up. Unfortunately, not able to pick up the first, but he saw everyone on the map. Picks up 1 kill from the top, sets up Envoy and Kenny to pick up the last 2 towards bottom. Then HyDra in the 1v4 isn't able to get anything done. LA Thieves, now 4 first bloods in this search and destroy. New York had to try to stop getting picked. Skyz, turn it up, baby.
I mean, what? It's like, I don't even know what the KD would be right now, but it's definitely not looking great. It's like a reverse of what we saw. It's like a reverse of what we saw. At Major number 1, he put like a 1.3. Right now, maybe sitting at a 0.3. Kenny again. God, man, it just feels like every gunfight, he is just absolutely perfect with the reaction and with the accuracy. We talked about first bloods, another one for Thieves. New York on the retake.
Trying to find an opening. HyDra tries to step on Drazah, but he's able to take him down. Shots from Octane, spots out Priestahh. Envoy eventually takes down Skyz. Now they know his positioning of the last player. This is going to be 4 up, 4 down. Potentially a very, very clean round from the LA Thieves. It all starts with their top mid control. Once you get an AR watching over top mid, you don't see anyone in towards the site. Kenny with that jump towards middle kegs is able to find that first pull onto KiSMET and then immediately goes for that bomb plant. I don't know what's going on with Kenny, man, but he's been putting in work, and it's showing so far in this series, man. LA Thieves, 5 first bloods in the search and destroy. They're now going to put them up 3-2 in the round count.
And it makes you wonder, too, man. Like, I watched the 0 to 100 documentary series that the Thieves obviously had talking about Major 1, and it just feels like oftentimes that Kenny is always a player after a game or after a round, after a series is over, to instantly talk about, hey, this is what we did wrong. These are the things we need to fix. And there's almost an element where you wonder if, like, maybe Kenny was so involved in making sure the mistakes weren't being made that he just kind of needs to, at times, be still aware of that, but just kind of like, just be free flowing. Like, just do your thing on the map.
Just focus on yourself.
Exactly. And so far, it feels like he is having a fantastic time. He looks like he's on vacation right now in this series here versus New York. Right now, having a nice little excursion here on iLLeY. Another first blood for Thieves as they have been flawless. NYSL consistently working from the back foot. And now their job just got that much more difficult. HyDra, well, another 1v4.
Don't count the young men out, though. He does have 1v4 on the year so far.
That's true.
Bomb's going to be down over towards that A site. Get some information on Kenny. And Kenny, right now, the way that he's feeling, the ego chow is most likely going to come in. As HyDra's just trying to play for this 1 kill. He's just trying to take down Kenny. He knows that this round is nowhere near his favor to try to win this. Eventually gets spotted by Drazah. That's another 4 up, 4 down. Clean round from LA Thieves. They put a lot of pressure on towards courtyard. You get that first blood. Octane was laying on the top side of the courtyard pillars. Finds that kill onto KiSMET. Eventually, they find the third, and then HyDra's just stuck by himself in a 1v4 once again. LA Thieves are not making any mistakes. Like you said, man, flawless in the first blood column. 6 so far for LA.
Thought Kenny was going to ego chow that last gunfight as well, but hey, you know what? He's just handing out kills, handing out assists. Everybody eats on the LA Thieves. It's now 4-2, and I hate to bring it up, man, but it's so true. Skyz 0-6. Definitely did not have a great start in the hard point, and bringing that now to the S&D. He has fallen victim quite a few times so far to Octane in this iLLeY. We'll see if it happen again. We'll see actually if New York can finally get a first blood. Yes, they will. KiSMET finally able to break through what has been a slump of a game number 2 for him as well. Start things off hot. Oh, Skyz had the timing, just scopes out at the worst time possible. Could have been a second pick. Gets hit there from Octane. He'll live to see another day, but the same thing cannot be said for HyDra. 3v3.
3v3. 45 seconds to work with. LA Thieves are just taking their time. Octane is going to invest in that dead silence, but Skyz lines it up with the sniper.
What?
So now both players are going to get stiffed now. Priestahh slowly playing patient for Envoy, able to take him down 1v3, all left up to Octane. No dead silence to work with. Only 30 seconds. He does have the bomb in hand.
Come here.
But the snipe is not going to connect for Skyz. New York finally get a first blood, and it leads to some success. It wasn't easy, but they got it done. New York stay alive in this game a little longer. Now down 4-3.
Dude, and for a moment, I really thought that for a second, like it was gonna be. I thought that for a moment it was gonna be Skyz to hit the snipe. You can just tell at the bit of frustration, he's looking to try to grab that pick on the Octane. And a major thorn to the side so far throughout this search and destroy. But as you said, man, New York, they rely on KiSMET to find that first blood, and from there, the rest of the round falls their way. And it's only a 3-4 game as well. That was obviously the swing round, so scoreline looks much, much better. And another opportunity for the cross. Octane, a rare missed snipe. Still gives the info to the team. And now it's on to Drazah. SMG in hand. Nearly cuts away too. But holding on to that bar was Priestahh. Locks things down. It makes things a little bit more manageable if you are the Subliners. But Kenny again from long range hits double digits. And once more gives Thieves man count.
So now it's all left up to Skyz and HyDra. Bomb is going to be down towards top mid. Octane picks up that information of a player already up there. So now they at least know where one player is. But HyDra just going to take his time. Skyz does invest in that dead silence. He's kind of trying to cover a lot of ground, but Envoy, he's ready for it. Now it's all left up to HyDra. What has it been? Like 2 1v4s, now a 1v3? This guy's always left in the clutch.
You gotta feel bad for him too. Like it's nearly impossible. Thankfully, he does have dead silence, but once he plants this bomb, okay, he does at least find a pick. Can he manage to stay alive? Yes, he will. Great work so far from HyDra. Dead silence popped. 35 seconds left to defend this bomb. Octane and Kenny still to fight off against a longtime duo. He's put in tags toward either side. Are they gonna send Kenny flying forward? Oh, he's got one in the back. HyDra, has he just clutched this out? Puts Kenny in a very precarious position, spots him in middle, and there you go. HyDra, sweat off the brow, says, I will do it myself. So many clutching situations, and comes away with a nice little 1v3 to tie up game number 2.
Unbelievable out of HyDra. He said 1v4 is all right, not going to be easy, but 1v3, I'm going to stand a pretty good chance, especially when you're able to get that bomb down and find that kill immediately. Once he turns it into a 1v2, you saw Kenny and Octane, they had no idea where he was. It's because HyDra invests that dead silence, so he's running around dead silent, finds that kill, and then repositions towards top mid and finds that kill finally onto Kenny. What a massive clutch coming in from HyDra to now tie it up at 4-4. LA Thieves, that's one you want to get back, but New York gained a lot of confidence off of that one. Priestahh is now going to be that player on the late flank. He does pop that dead silence, but it's about to run out.
It is about to run out, but he at least, gets to a spot. Drazah had him red. Priestahh escapes with 6 HP. And that's the biggest point about it. Not only does he find the kill, but he stays alive. And the Thieves starting to feel the pressure where everybody happens to be. Missed snipe from Octane. Pistol is all that he has now. Thankfully, that bomb has been planted, but New York are here. KiSMET once again on the stairs, causing havoc. As now here comes the rush of players. Can Envoy find a few? Not able to do so. All on to Kenny. A bomb site to defend, and New York rifle their way in toward that A site. Wonderful work here for the Subliners as Priestahh, from start to finish, was part of the round. And New York now find themselves up 5-4.
That's 3 in a row for New York. They're just taking it round by round. It's currently like 7-2 in first bloods. Doesn't matter when you have a couple playmakers on the side of New York. Now they put themselves at game point. So far, I don't even think New York were able to get this bomb down besides HyDra's 1v3. So if you are New York, let's just try to hit a rush plan over towards A. Take the play to them instead of getting picked apart, because aBeZy so far on the defensive end, they've been doing great at finding that first blood. But now New York, 1 round away, tying it up at 1.
Utility tossed. And that will slow the early engagement here from New York. Will the first blood be found toward the outside of the warehouse, potentially for Skyz, as he's put away that sniper and elected for the tack. Keep in mind for the Thieves, they've actually only got 1 player inside of the warehouse on both sides of the map. They've got players working. It could come down to Priestahh. Oh, he gets cut down in the first blood. Kenny, a great opening gunfight victory, stays alive as well. And now that puts that much more pressure, that much more emphasis on Skyz to have to walk away with this fight. He knows Drazah is here. Oh, tosses out the stun. Oh, gets the worst timing.
It's the worst timing possible. Now it turns into a 3v2, all left up to the SMG duo on the side of New York. KiSMET and HyDra. What can he try to get done? HyDra's position is going to be known. Kenny's able to back him down for now. As the dead silence is going to get invested for Drazah. Here comes the pinch. Should be able to pick up this kill. Now it's all left up to KiSMET in the 1v3.
What does the Bulldog have cooked up for us? This could actually work out perfect timing-wise. Drazah checks the angle, and I tell you what, it's a common angle to look out for, obviously through the mid-hallway, but Drazah arrives maybe a second or 2 late. There is potential for KiSMET to run into that bomb site, find 1, maybe 2, and who knows the clutch. Regardless, Drazah with some major fights toward the end of this round to get us to a round 11. A major one for Thieves. It feels like this S&D should have been cleaned up a few rounds ago. But it's been about clutches, 3v4s, 1v3s, you name it. New York, they have survived. And right now they're looking for this OT victory to put them back in the series, Jay. Here we go.
Here we go. If you are New York, you just simply cannot get blooded. It's 8-2 in favor of the LA Thieves so far in this search and destroy. They're just going to slowly play on their attack. Drazah took a lot of ground pushing up towards Fields last time, basically shutting down that B push. You see the positioning right now of Envoy. He's sitting at middle kegs. He's making sure no players are going to be super aggressive in towards A. The stunner, unfortunately, banks off the wall for HyDra. But they're just trying to spot out where any of these players can potentially be as Priestahh slowly starting to attack up towards the alley. Finds the first blood. HyDra with the second. 4v2.
Oh, but Envoy, he comes away with 2. Eventually does get silenced, but lightens the load a bit. Now for Octane. A 1v2 for the game. As Sam LaRue got something up his sleeve. He's got dead silence popped. He's got information on Skyz. He's got information on the other one, but KiSMET will close out the 1v1. And New York will stay alive. It got dicey. It got difficult. But Subliners dig deep. And the Thieves have got to know that they just allowed for New York to bring it back. So many missed opportunities, but Subliners answer back on aBeZy here in round 11.
That's unbelievable, man. What an unbelievable performance from New York on a map that they have yet to play, with a teammate dropping 1 kill and 10 deaths. That's insane stuff from New York. They lose the first blood fight 8-3, but in the final round where it mattered the most, Priestahh finds that first blood. KiSMET finds a second, and then eventually it turns into a 2v2. Envoy makes such a great play to push out through side alley door, at least evens up the numbers for the time being. But then when it turns into a 1v2 for Octane, I really thought he had the opportunity to close that one out, man. Once you spot KiSMET crossing towards site, you know where the first guy is. The second site was pushed out. The second guy was all the way pushed out towards orange truck. That guy wasn't even looking at you. I think if you're Octane, you want that play back, because if you go in there and you take down KiSMET right off the rip, it makes the round a lot more easy, because that's the guy carrying the bomb. You have to force New York to get that bomb planted. You take him down, you probably headless to site, and you're able to win that second gunfight. But the Bulldog clutches up in the 1v1 to keep New York in this series, tie it up at 1. That's a momentum swing, man, because now if you are New York, you're going into a fortress control where, to me, in my opinion, they are the best team at this map.
Yeah, it is a huge moment of momentum there for the Subliners. It's one of the weirder scoreboards I think we've seen actually in Search Destroy in a very long time.
Yeah.
New York gets like outslayed by 9 kills. I know we don't normally talk about that in Search Destroy, but it just goes to show when Thieves were winning rounds, they were being dominant. When New York was winning rounds, it was in these very, very crucial 1v1 type of moments, and that is what this game 2 comes down to. It is a game 5, or rather a round 11 1v1. A major W there for the Subliners as they answer back and bring themselves into a nice little 1-0 column on LSC, though. Great way to start off versus a very decent, obviously, team on the other side in the LA Thieves. We'll do it for our very first 2 games. When we come back after the break, we are headed to some good old fortress control. Stay with us.
Upgrade your game with the Scump, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck.
Asgard, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the final match of the day, going down between the New York Subliners and the LA Thieves. We are through 2 maps so far in this best of 5 series, and right now we are at 1-1 coming into this Fortress Control. And I'll tell you what, Jay, it just feels like right now there's one player hasn't been playing the best despite the comeback and the search destroy. That's Skyz. Yeah, the KD. Not great right now for him.
Yeah, you don't say. The guy is literally not having the best performance here, but somehow, someway, we still find ourselves at a tied 1-1 series. Now going into the New York Subliners best control map, where 3 players are over basically a 1.2 KD, including Skyz. Yeah, so you gotta be feeling good. Then they're also, New York are one of the, pretty sure the only team on this map that have won 3 attacking rounds. So that basically sets them up for a lot of success. If you are LA Thieves, you have to get some segments done on your attacking side, and that's not a way you want to do it. That's going to be 3 dead in the feed. New York have them in the trap.
I think teams should get awards for how many offensive victories that they actually have on Fortress
Without
Control.
question.
Like, give them a medal. I don't know, maybe some type of title. You know, something to make them feel good about themselves. Because the last Fortress Control that you and I casted over was very, very dominant throughout most of it on the defensive side. We'll see if that remains the story here for New York, as the Thieves maybe have found a little bit of an opportunity for a breakthrough. And really, it's going to result on Octane trying to win that fight. He eventually falls. Kenny now the sole man alive over at that A objective. 45 seconds still to go, and by definition, nothing yet on the board for LAT.
You have one player in Envoy, though. Makes his way in towards bottom R. He's able to at least find 1 kill. So now you have to focus him. If you are New York, he's able to find 2. So now this should allow his teammates to get out of the spawn. But you have to eliminate these players from maps. Drazah and Envoy, they combine for a couple kills. Envoy still slaying around this art area, just jumping around with the SMG. Doesn't even need it. Pulls out the tack as well. And that's going to be the first segment done. The second segment is about to be in. LA Thieves would look like to be a shutout round from New York. Have just literally came to life. What an unbelievable performance to capture A.
Envoy, you are gross. What in the world was that? How did he manage to stay alive for so long? And really, Jay, it is all because of him, right? He is the reason why they get those 3 ticks over at that A zone. A big moment there for the Thieves and out of Envoy. And a slower opening hard point there on Fortress, but he's picked it up here in the control, and maybe Kenny could start to erupt as well. Both of the SMGs for Thieves trying to get things going, as by definition, they do technically right now have the lead when it comes to lives, but that starts to be whittled away as KiSMET walks away with 2. 45 seconds still to go. And really, it's a few players right now for Thieves trying to stay alive, be these checkpoints, and help get the rest of the crew across the map.
Yeah, Envoy's just trying to maintain maps control. This is where you invest the cruise missile to pick up information of where every player is, which will allow your teammates to get a little bit more aggressive on the map. Kenny finds that kill onto Skyz. Fortunately, cruise missile isn't going to connect towards anything, but at least you know where everyone is. These Scump fights are so big. Kenny finds another. They get on towards the B point. Kenny finds a 3rd. Now there's only 5 lives remaining for New York. You have to hold strong here.
You do indeed. 4 lives still to go. 15 seconds left. Envoy eager to pump that dead silence, get it going. Time continues to tick away, but that actually could work perfectly in his favor. Keep in mind, on the other side of the map, HyDra's trying to do the same thing. He's trying to cut a few players from the Thieves and getting to this objective. HyDra gets found out. Timing works perfectly for Envoy. He jumps on the point and give the Thieves the round. That round starts and it ends with Dylan Envoy, the Dark Prince, causing havoc here in round 1.
How many kills did he just drop in that round 1? Because keep in mind, in control, there's only 30 lives per team. He just killed half lives remaining by himself. He finds the timing towards the very end. KiSMET was not ready for it. They don't even need to complete a segment at this B point. And they win an attacking round. LA Thieves have set themselves up for a lot of success going forward on this control. If they hold strong on the defensive side, it's not going to be easy going up against the #1 attacking team in New York. But the way that Envoy came out swinging, that's already going to be 3 dead. Last player towards stable. Envoy's feeling delusional, confident. Let's just fly. Unfortunately, doesn't win the gunfight, but New York are now in the track.
mean, I'll tell you what, Jay. I mean, if this somehow gets to a round 5 and Thieves win, he's on pace for 75 kills.
Unbelievable. Wow, that'd be insane. New
that
record.
would be. I think he definitely would hold the title of Fortress King. There's no question about it. Thieves off of a major play out of Envoy in that last round delivers the opening attack. We talked about how often you can point out how many times the team has won an offense here on Fortress. And there we see it out of the Thieves. Into round number 2 we go. And right now for New York, it's been the struggle bus. They eventually will have some player on the flight. That's actually going to be KiSMET. Looks to put away one. Unfortunately, does not have the teammate support. So he is basically here all by his lonesome, trying to dance around, stay alive, as he will halt the time for the moment.
He's just trying to stay alive as long as he can. LA Thieves are not going to give this one up for free, though. Still putting on a lot of pressure. Drazah is able to find the first. Drazah with the second. That's going to be all 4 dead in the feed. Now New York are in the trap. They have nothing to show for being the best attacking team on Fortress control. It's now with only 20 seconds left. Octane even picks it up with the SMG. There's nothing this guy can't do. 10, 15 seconds away until LA Thieves go up 2-0.
It's always nice to have a little feature of Subtane from time to time. He does appear from series to series. And that's going to be 5 in a row for Octane. Yeah, put him to bed. Put him to bed. 20-10 in lives. A commanding round number 2 here out of the Thieves. And who knew, Jay? I mean, we're talking about SMGs maybe being a problem for the Thieves. Kenny looks unbelievable in hardpoint. Envoy looks fantastic in control. And hey, you know what? I mean, sometimes you can even see Octane pull up the SMG, look fantastic. I think those doubts are starting to be put away very quickly.
LA Thieves just putting in a lot of work during this Christmas break, man.
Yeah.
They said, listen, there's a couple maps that we don't have played. There's a couple maps that we don't really enjoy. But with every single player always putting himself in those late night 8s, just getting the reps in, you're starting to feel a lot more confident. And it's showing so far, man. Even if you are LA Thieves, you get completely shut out on this round. You did not allow New York to get any segments on their attacking round. They're not messing around, man. What? They can't make no wrongs. They can't do nothing wrong. 3 dead already in the feed. LA Thieves get on B.
Surely they don't win 2 attacks, right? I mean, surely.
Unbelievable.
Surely not. Priestahh, I mean, literally just trying to go for 1 guarantee off the spawn. KiSMET and Skyz, everybody able to put in a decent amount of work, but that's really halfway there. Granted, they will go ahead and limit the rest of the progress, but 1 tick already at B. You'll take that if you're Thieves. But right now, 20-9 so far from Envoy as he just looks to keep the pace on up. I don't know if he's going to hit 75 necessarily, but you take a 30, a 40 bomb out of the kit. See if it happens. As there you go. A few more picks in the feed. That's 3 down. And now it's time to get going if you're Thieves.
Oh my God.
Flying. Oh, he's flying.
Oh my God.
He's flying, Jay. Envoy can't be stopped.
He can't be stopped, man. He's a man on a mission. They already completed 1 segment over towards A. Every single time I'm thinking that New York are going to be able to set up a trap. As long as LA Thieves are maintaining match control, that's all they need to do off the rip. A couple kills going in favor of Octane. He's got the beamer. Can't find the kill onto KiSMET, but there's still 40 seconds left. LA Thieves are in favor in the lives remaining. It doesn't usually happen on attacking rounds, but they currently found themselves up by 3. 30 seconds remaining on the round. New York have to try to trap them in.
They absolutely have to. One player that could do that is HyDra. He's had a very slow performance so far throughout this Fortress control. I don't know how Envoy knew that he was going to be coming, but doesn't end up changing the ultimate result. 14-14 now in lives, but now it's 14 seconds left on the clock. You got to get going if you're Thieves. You have a little bit of damage done when it comes into segments, but that's not going to ultimately do it in the end. 5 more seconds, and New York will stay alive. The Thieves have come out hot and heavy so far here in Fortress control, and really in this series. But NYSL at least able to put 1 on the board.
Able to win that defensive round, but job's not going to get easier from here on out for New York.
Yeah.
LA Thieves were able to complete 2 segments on that round, so now that's going to put them up by 5. So if you are New York, the way you need to win this attacking round and secure that defensive round number 5 is by completing both points. It has to come down to the start off. It has to come down to the break off. You cannot lose your majority of your gunfights and get instantly put in a trap, because you saw how difficult it was to get out with the vice script that LA Thieves had you in. As belly flopping out of top maps is going to be it for HyDra. Just want to stay alive if you are towards this point. A couple trophies go down towards A. HyDra finds that first. They're slowly trying to get that progression up.
Yeah, they've got 3 players really established over at A. Meanwhile, HyDra, they're going to try to let him go off and maybe start to fry. As we said, an uncharacteristic performance, especially on a map like Fortress. There to the French Phenom, now at 8-21 as he hits the dirt. Now that puts a little more pressure on that A zone. And you can see how that starts to affect the offensive team. If they lose their opening player, their scout, it just makes the job of the men on the objective that much more difficult. Nice early 2 captures there for New York, but they definitely would have liked to get that one done and out of the way, considering, as we said, this unbelievably dominant spawn trap that you can get the opposition in from time to time, as now it's Drazah's turn to hang out toward the stairs.
Everyone is picking up an SMG. Everyone is roaming around towards bottom maps. It does not matter. LA Thieves have them in the trap. 45 seconds. New York need to find an opening. They need to find that opening kill to try to get out of their spawn. 3 players going to put pressure on through about 2 top maps. Envoy with the great positioning with that TAC 56. That's going to be 3 down in the feed once again. Last player up is going to be HyDra. You see how he's playing slow and steady in towards bottom maps because he knows if he drops here, it's basically going to be all done and dusted. But they have to get out. They have to get out now.
They do. And I think HyDra does manage to escape. Does manage to escape to the back of the base. Behind enemy lines right now is HyDra. As he and KiSMET now sit around that big objective. Thieves having to turn around, having to react. New York down in lives, but really they got to keep in mind the time. Somebody has to hop on an objective. Halt the seconds for the moment. As HyDra continues to take away players, it's at least making his teammates' lives that much more easy. Now toward the top, the Thieves begin to scramble. As long as HyDra stays alive. Oh, there's pandemonium on the map now. HyDra's finding a few.
Oh, he's flying.
Makes a sizable dent. Oh, HyDra, he's still here. He is still here, but his teammates are not here with him.
There's nobody here. HyDra is a man on a mission by himself. He does earn that cruise whistle, but this is not the time to call it in. Gotta win a couple gunfights if you are New York. 11-12 in lives remaining. New York are starting to do it. That's gonna be segments all over the place. They're on both points. You got 1 player already on A. Everyone else from LA Thieves is committing towards B. Kenny at least finds 1. But what can HyDra do? HyDra finds the first. HyDra finds 2. That's a 9 spree. New York might do it.
Oh my God, HyDra! They will do it, New York! How did they pull that off? HyDra was literally just double negative. And he goes on like a 12 spree.
Unreal, Lando. That is unbelievable. You do not expect those plays to happen. LA Thieves, they were finding a couple kills stagnant towards that B point, towards that A point, but the most important kill was HyDra. He was the roaming slayer. He ends that round on a 10 spree, and with them completing both points, this is the worst case scenario for the LA Thieves. New York are gonna have the defense going into this round number 5. They just have to hold strong, do not get outslayed, and try to put them in the trap. They have not yet been able to put LA Thieves in the trap the way that LA Thieves have been able to do to New York. But with that 2-piece already starting off for New York, they already set themselves up beautifully. That's going to be 4 dead. All of LA Thieves off spawn.
But we saw Simp go in an unbelievable spree. I mean, HyDra could be here to contest that. He's at 11 in a row. The Thieves have got to be full of frustration, but they got to put that aside. They've got to put that aside here in round number 5. We'll see if Envoy and Kenny can continue to be the difference makers. Envoy had that incredible round just a few moments ago, a few minutes ago, as they will be able to make their way into that A objective. So time will be halted. KiSMET, the Bulldog, called to be sent forward. As he eventually does drop, it could be on the HyDra to make the play. He also falls. So Thieves, the decent camp set up over at that A zone, as they will look to stop the time, send a few players forward. A very healthy bit of map positioning right now is what the Thieves have got. See, the comms are flowing. Everybody's ready. And it looks like that 3rd tick very well could be coming in soon. Or maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not indeed. New York able to find 3 kills in the feed. Last player up is going to be Drazah towards bottom maps. Just want to take your time if you are New York. If they can get at least 1 clean 4 dead, the map is basically going to be theirs. That's going to be 2 dead already. HyDra's ready. KiSMET's ready. That's going to be all 4 dead in the feed. This has been a tremendous comeback from the Subliners, and they're showing why they are the best control team on Fortress.
This is unbelievable. It happened in so many ways in the search to destroy, and it looks like a collapse. It looks like a breakdown. New York, another 4 down, and as the time ticks away, to win this control and rub salt in the wound, knowing that they had no business winning that game number 3. But here they are.
I'm literally jaw-dropped by it, though. Like, you don't see things like that happen. You don't see a guy who starts off the map 5-20 and turns it around, goes on an 11 spree to secure his team an attacking round. All of New York over 1.0 KD on this map. Look, man,
That is so typical, Jay.
HyDra was 5-20.
I know.
He was 5-20 and ended 25-25. What a performance from New York. He said, Envoy, you had a great start, but don't worry, I'm not done and dusted yet. Turns up to a whole different level. This is what makes New York the best team in the game, because when your SMGs are able to roam and slay the way that they were, 26 non-traded kills for KiSMET. He was always doing this thing the entirety of the map. But for HyDra to turn it around the way that he did, go on a 10 spree, actually 11 spree,
That's
to
so
close
typical.
out that I'm telling you, like, I don't know what to say. That was an insane control. New York go up 2-1.
Jay, this series should be over, man. I'm being honest.
Be over.
This series should be over. Like, they threw away so many rounds in the search and destroy. And we'll get to watch it again. If you're just joining, you've seen everybody just tweeting out about how wild of a comeback this was for New York. Watch it again. Oh my God, they were up 2-0. New York makes the comeback. I mean, Envoy's like 22-9 at this point in the game. It looked like it was over.
It really did, Lando. It really looked like it was low. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. I can barely breathe right now because of that intensity in that snap right there. Like, the fact that New York were able to stay composed the way that they were. They knew what they needed to do to at least get that round 5 defense. That's by completing both points, completing every single segment. When you allow HyDra, a guy that is usually always going to go off on a map like Fortress, has a tremendous slow start to this one, turns it up to a whole different level, and they are able to clutch up on the control to now go up 2-1. If you are LA Thieves, I'm telling you, I am so checked. I am so checked if I'm every single player on LA Thieves, because you did everything right. You did everything right until your final defensive round where you allowed New York, actually not even New York, where you allowed HyDra to break your setup every single time. That has got to be completely demoralizing. Like you said, even in the game 2 search and destroy, 8-3 in first bloods. You basically choke this map number 3. But now you're going into an aBeZy hardpoint where everybody's got to hit the hard regain. And no one's communicating. You can just see by the player's face, they are at a loss for words. They don't know what just happened.
I don't know what happened either, to be honest. Like, I tell you what, man, there was something about just Vaznevs in control. We saw Simp go on 10+. We saw HyDra go on 10+. I think KiSMET, got like a 9 range as well. Just an unbelievable performance and an incredible turnaround there from Paco. I mean, we were talking about it like moments ago. Like, there was just like a few minutes. I think like 60 seconds went by. We're like, okay, HyDra double negative, definitely not having a great map. Kind of, don't expect to see that. And then he finishes off the game. I'm like, 5-20 to 25-25. You can see he's got a smirk on his face, knowing that, again, Jay, they have no right to be in this series. They have no right to be up 2-1. But here they are, LAT, yet to put them away. And the Subliners are saying, you give us an inch, we will take a mile. Now up 2-1. I don't know if if this is a good Kenny, if this is a bad Kenny. I think he's got a migraine, Jay.
It's a chalk Kenny. It's literally a check Kenny. Because you're thinking like, all right, that map should be ours. We should have been able to close out this series in a 3-0. But now you have to regain, and you have to regain quick if you are LA Thieves, because you're going into an aBeZy hardpoint where they have a pretty good record, sitting at an overall 3-1 compared to New York, who have yet to play this map. All momentum is in favor of New York, but the fundamentals and the way that you play this map is great for LA Thieves. They are 6th in rotation win percentage, but they are 2nd overall in hold percentage. So if you are New York, you have to make sure you're winning your rotations, getting there nice and early, because then that's when you're going to cause some problems for LA Thieves. Someone's got to make a play. Someone's got to turn up to a whole different level, at least hype the guys up and bring them back to try to force that game 5.
Yeah, and I don't know if you agree with this, Jay, but if I'm New York, I'm almost playing with like a new level of aggression. Like I
without a doubt.
To put it to these guys in the very first like 3-4 opening hard points, maybe just in the first set of rotations. I want to try to take it to the Thieves, but as we fly in for our opening team engagement, it is a nice few going the way of LAT, as they will eventually maybe try to hop inside of that objective. As we know here on aBeZy, it's not really about P1 at all. It is about the same position that we right now see for Skyz and Octane. The early AR battle has the there's the Tax will look to duel each other for that coveted spawn toward next. As the Thieves will hop inside of P1. We continue to battle. We continue to tango here on aBeZy.
Continue to do a little dancey dance on the embassy as New York able to find 2. Now off the rotation, they're able to set up the pinch onto Octane. They should be in control of the spawns. The last player up is going to be Envoy towards Milk Truck. But HyDra's ready for it. He finds that kill and New York gets some good time off of that P1. They're going to be able to chain it over towards P2. A lot of pressure from the Thieves is going to come in towards embassy building. But you're going to have one player in Drazah who finds that kill on towards the pinch. Now the pinch is going to be in. LA Thieves should get the break here.
Statistically, Thieves, this has actually not been a great hard point for them despite the record. It's been 1-3-5 is usually where they see the success. So not common to a lot of opportunity here on P2. And right now, Skyz is making them work for every single gunfight. A few do hit the deck as the Thieves very much look to claim the hard point that they feel they deserve. With 25 seconds to go, that HP looks to go their way. And now it's about the rotation over toward the ACs, over toward P3. We roam. But right now for New York, they try to come out with a few early daggers, but LAT holding strong, holding true. And Jay, it's another solid opening performance here from Kenny, already at 7-5.
Turning up to a different level, especially with that SMG in hand, but you do not win that rotation battle over towards AC. You're gonna have Envoy. He's actually gonna have a one-on-one here. You should be able to win it. That's a break coming in from LA Thieves, and that's got to be a mishap right there from New York, because you won that rotation. Just a couple gunfights didn't go your favor, and then you only leave one player left on that point, but they find every single kill. The last player is going to be towards Kenny. He at least finds one, but the trade is going to be in, and New York get the break right back onto their favor. Now they're going to be able to take the lead.
And that little moment right there just feels what has really been this series so far for the Subliners. It's like, okay, we make a mistake, we allow for LAT to get something going, and we instantly turn up and bring it on back. But we continue to duel. As I said, 20 seconds to go. LAT, they win their 1v1s, and now they've got a primary spot over toward the ending seconds at AC. Now toward the office we go. We've already had a nice little tour so far of aBeZy, and now it's time to head to the office. Time to get the business done. NY currently with the spawns, but they've got quite a few NY players toward the outside, also known as PD. And right now, LAT trying to tell them to come out with their hands up. NYSL not about to bite as they clear the first wave.
Oh, and HyDra's shutting down all the players trying to set up a pinch. He finds 3. So now New York able to take the lead right on back. That's another rotation in their favor, but Kenny with the snap finds a 2-piece onto the SMG duo of New York. That's going to be 3 dead. The break is in from LA Thieves. Now all of New York spawning out towards tennis.
Well, you can see Kenny, he's hungry, man. He knows where the opposition happens to be. Cannot finalize the kill on the Priestahh. HyDra's got his back. LAT without one of their subs, but they've still got a little bit of the crew remaining. Octane happy to hold down the ADS. Watch as a dolphin diving Skyz. So back and forth we go. Feels like really both teams contesting for the final 15, final 20, and typically it's going their way. Neck and neck through our very first 4 hard points, and now it's time for a chaotic one. Put those tacks away, pull out the fast devs. The kitchen we had.
It's a kitchen we had, and Drazah finds a big kill onto Priestahh to shut down that pitch from coming in from that kitchen. So LA Thieves are doing a great job of just holding strong. KiSMET, next player, trying to at least take them down. He gets traded. In New York, now they have more bodies. A couple players from LA Thieves are going to spawn all the way at PD. They're trying to play for those spawn kills, but now you just have to take these guys out of the point. They cannot do it. This has been a flawless hold from LA Thieves so far.
Great work up to this point. We know oftentimes for the Subliners, it has been on their SMGs to make these major breaks, and it's on to KiSMET. Able to put away 2. Skyz there for the answer. 25 very valuable points still to fight for. And right now it is New York's claim to territory as we look to try and reset here on aBeZy. It has been a great start for the Thieves. How in the world does Skyz come away with 2? A nice little double kill on the ladder. This is everybody hitting stride, hitting form.
But unfortunately right there, Skyz tries to get a little bit over aggressive. LA Thieves at the end of their first rotations currently found themselves up by 17. Envoy with a big kill. Right now, LA Thieves is doing a great job of just fighting for this kitchen control side towards this back alley because they know they have to win that rotation this time around over towards P2. Can't allow New York to get some good chunk of time off of P1 the way that they did the first go around. If you're on New York, it's all about slaying. Not again. Not again. What's on this pistol?
Ow!
I need it.
Skyz! Good God, the X12. Who would have known that is the gun to look out for? As he is flawless over at that ladder. I tell you what. Good God. Not had a great series, but he is turning it up. Played much better in the control and looking great, at least with the X12 here on aBeZy. Now toward P2. It was an all-out brawl last time around. As New York with a slight advantage, it is a continuous headbutt toward the backside of the parking lot. Priestahh trying to clear the way, make things a little bit easier. But an SMG previously trying to bring out that history, but eventually does fall. LAT with a bit of the man count advantage. Find themselves right now in the 3 versus 2. A bit of a stalemate. So we've got 45 points still to fight for.
A lot of time to fight for both of these squads, but neither one of these guys want to give up the positioning of where they currently are. Full control of the street is going to be the Thieves, and with that last player drop in an Octane, now this should allow New York to try to get on the time, but the mid cross from Drazah is able to take down 2. But finally, someone is able to get on towards this P2 hard point. New York almost have to just cut their losses. They do have 2 players already off the rotation. That's going to be 3 dead. Last player up is going to be Envoy. So this remaining 20 should go in favor of New York. They're going to be able to win that rotation battle. And this is not good if you are the LA Thieves. But Kenny can make a play up the ladder. Here we go.
Oh, Kenny tried to make the play. KiSMET eventually says no. Rotation toward P3 is going to remain intact. There now for the Subliners as they've got what they want. They've got the objective that they need. Let's see what they can do with few in a row. HyDra and Skyz able to drop a few. But Octane's trying to knock on the door. He eventually does get shut down. And so far it has been wonderful, wonderful work here from New York.
Yeah, this is tough. This is hill to break in. LA Thieves have to try to find something right now. Let's step aside. Let's go into a listening with the LA boys.
They're all spawning there.
I don't have a trophy.
I have D1. They're all pinned in new, bro. Just slow the game down. Hold it. Get a fucking kill.
Yeah,
he's fine. He went in there. Top office. I'm jumping off office. I spawned D2. We can hit this. I jumped off. I got my spawn back. I'm coming D1. You want to death? D1. All the way deep spawn, boys. He's spawned out. Ken, you give me info in the back? I can't. Yeah, I'm one shot, bro. I go top. In the back office. He went flat. Challenge this guy, bro.
Player kill.
Okay, kids in flat. I can't shell anything.
Your back.
I can't shell you.
Alright, kids on top office, bro.
I'm gonna jump to the player.
Top
office? Yes, he's up there in office somewhere. Spawn back, bro. Spawn back. And D1 door.
I hear push.
Alright, they're all playing tight.
What's back?
D1 door, tell us. Hit the back. D1 door. Top office, one shot. Chairs, one shot, chairs.
Back flat.
Oh, so they got plant. Alright, chairs, bro. Are you on chairs? These are chairs. I'm coming through all. Chairs. On there, bro. Hit 3 times, chairs. Balls, 2 pocket. Hit 3 times, chairs. One shot down.
That should be on the heady. Behind the wall.
Back wall. One shot. I'm playing new. I spawned here. He's in new already.
20 seconds.
One shot. He went stairs.
Here.
Stairs on me, bro. I got hit. Laundry one shot. Pocket going back to time. He's like tables area.
Top.
Well, I'll tell you what, we were wondering what the mental would be from the Thieves after a heartbreaking control loss. And I'll tell you what, Jay, they still sound poised. They still sound confident. Regardless of that, though, they were doing everything they could to try to break over at the office. We oftentimes credit the Thieves for their communication, but not even that was strong enough to break inside of the office. As now New York extend their advantage 200 to 165. Back and forth we go. Are we in for another banger to close it out?
Yes, we definitely are. Octane, the entire LA Thieves squad, they know that they're never out until it's officially done. They are world champions for a reason. P5 has been the only hill that they've been able to win that rotation towards. As New York are going to put pressure on through middle, put pressure on through the backside. Kenny's going to have a couple big gunfights he has to try to win. Unfortunately, cannot win it. HyDra and KiSMET combined for 3. Last player up is going to be Octane, and another break comes in from New York. Closer and closer to that 250-point mark. LA Thieves Have to fight this to the very end and not allow New York to get a lot of time off of that P1. You have to force it towards P2.
Yeah, that is great time. Great time for the Subliners, extending the lead, extending the advantage. As we did see an unfortunate team shot come through from Drazah, and with that, oh my gosh, player number 7. Kenny just spawned right behind, I think, where HyDra's arrow was. It looked like they were right next to each other, but Kenny could be a straggler toward the back, as we are definitely gonna be looking out for those P2 spawns. He eventually does drop, so at the very least, I mean, his ability to be there in that moment distracts New York for the time. LAT hop on the objective, but only for a moment. Back and forth we go. 3 down for New York. Skyz, the only member past that 50-yard line, to see if he can make a sizable dent. As back and forth we go, LAT still holding on.
LA Thieves doing a great job of just holding this P1 down to the T. They're also winning that rotation in gunfights to over towards P2. New York, they're just trying to get out towards PD. They're trying to not give up all this time. HyDra at least flies, takes that player off of that P1. Still a 10-point game. Another photo finish, Lando. All the way towards the very end of this hard point. This time around, New York are going to have full street control. You have control of triple vans as well. Big gunfight coming in from Skyz. If he can win it, that's going to be it. Now that's going to be 3 down in the feed. Last player up is going to be Octane. You have to take him off.
Oh, 4 down.
Look at the spawns.
4 fall there for the Thieves. Spawning out, and HyDra is ready to pounce. The French Phenom is starting to heat up toward the end here of aBeZy. The Thieves, maybe one last good push at this. Skyz and Major POV at primary angle, trying to stay alive. Oh, another 4 down, and that very well could be it. LAT, are they in distance? Nobody will arrive, and the Subliners escape from peril. They live to see another day. And my goodness, what a series it was, full of clutches, as they grab game number 4 and lock up this series versus LAT.
New York came into this series playing 2 maps they have yet to play as a squad on the season. They clutch up in the game 2 search and destroy by losing the first blood battle in a 6-5. They win the Fortress Control by an absolute miracle. They play an aBeZy hardpoint where they have yet to play it on the season, going up against a powerhouse on the map in the LA Thieves. And they knew exactly what they needed to do to win the map. That's win rotation after rotation after rotation. The only time the LA Thieves were the first team at a certain hard point was at Kitchen Hill. New York were just playing ahead, and Skyz finally turned up on a map. 30 and 22, 25 non-traded kills. HyDra right next to him with 33 and 24, 27 non-traded. New York are the best team in the game. Never out until it's over, as they close out the series 3-1. What a performance from them.
Yeah, I tell you what, Jay, it's like, it's a very difficult series to look at in some ways, to decipher, technically LAT should have won this map, but New York clutched up. Who do you kind of credit that to? The only thing that I can really say, man, is that NYSL were handed an opportunity and they absolutely took it. The amount of clutches in the search destroy, the ability to turn things around in the control and to answer there on the aBeZy was absolutely fantastic. You almost feel a bit of a responsibility once you win a major to show that you're still that team.
Yep.
And right now, NYSL, it feels like that level of responsibility is in good hands, my friend.
Without question, man. Without question. Usually win a championship, you probably take a couple days off practice. Obviously it was Christmas, New Year's, a lot of the break. Usually come back a little bit complacent, but these guys said, nope, we're still the best team in the game. We're going to show you why. And that series was literally all it. That was an unbelievable series from New York.
Yeah, it absolutely was. NYSL, they clutch it out in 2, 3, 4. That's going to do it for us. It's now time to send it over to the desk. Guys, what a day of matches. Take it away, Punkett.
A great day. We didn't get that game 5 that we thought we might see, but we did get that intense series with so many clutches going back and forth, as you mentioned. But the Subliners telling chat, you can take that fluke and shove it. They are the real deal. They are consistent. How do you pull this off? Moment after moment, time after time, aLLeY, and just catch everyone off guard, pulling out the dub in the final minute.
It has to be the composure for me. The fact that after that first map, 250 to 184, LA Thieves looked disgusting. disgusting. And then even into that map too, LA Thieves take an early lead. So I have to say it's kind of the turnaround for New York Subliners of realizing the situation they were in, because that is our Pro-Am champions that we saw at the end of that series.
And I know you make some crazy wagers every once in a while. iTancha, though, put 250,000 channel points on the Subliners coming into this one. Safe bet?
I mean, yeah, I guess now in retrospect, right? Like looking at it, I thought LA Thieves were going to take this series, and it was looking good in the beginning. They look absolutely fantastic, but it's just a couple of those moments. Like we look back at that search and destroy, the 5-5, they're getting picked. You got to stay alive in that control. You let HyDra get through art and just terrorize you. Like these are the things we talk about with the New York Subliners, the playmaking ability that you have with KiSMET and that you have with HyDra. It was in full force there.
NYSL, some new spawns not affecting them, and the man who had some insane plays in Raleigh, well, he earns your Scump play of the game, not once but twice. We got a twofer here. Here's his 1v3. HyDra, you can never count this man out as the last one alive.
Well, so this is actually control.
We got the control coming
We got control first. We will see the 1v3 later, though.
This play is insane. Like he gets through. I think it was Jay who highlighted 5-20, ends 25-25. Bro, that was one of the craziest turnarounds I've seen in a map.
That was the control. Can we take a look at his 1v3 as well here?
Yeah, we have to.
We were kind of going crazy in the green room when this happened, right? So many times he's the last one standing. You're like, all right, this round's chalked. Let's just move forward. And then he does something like this. I
will say HyDra is probably the one player in New York where in a 1v3, you're like, he's the guy that's probably going to pull it out. And once again, I mean, Bomb is down too. Like the fact they had plays on offense, he beams Envoy and he gets away. I think the biggest thing about the situation was he was staying unpredictable the entire time. If you look at the minimap, you can see the LA Thieves players, they were so confused. They didn't know where he went. Kenny's just laying down, waiting for the rechow, and HyDra, he outplays it. He goes up top for the angle for the bomb plan and gets Kenny off guard.
Nameless, Skyz went 1-10 in that game, and you still get the W. What does that tell you, though, about a team?
I mean, it's just tenacity. Like, it's just teamwork. You get plays like that out of HyDra. They're staying composed. You know, in that very last round, they slowly worked upfield. They get the kill in the first blood. Like, they're just dissecting their opponent, and they did really good throughout that map in the comeback. The adjustments that they made were spot on.
iTancha, you and I are going to Vegas. Congratulations on nearing in on 1 million channel points. He is now the new points leader here on twitch.tv/Call of Duty. Everyone else is chasing him, and everyone in the league right now is chasing the Subliners. As we take a look back, here's how it all breaks down on our big board. Subliners now 10-3 overall. You've got a 7-game tie there with Ultra the FaZe at 2-3, and then a few more teams at that 6-5. A big chunk though, 9-12. A lot of room still for some climbing to do here as we lead into this Boston Major alley.
Yeah, and with the climbing, I mean, that involves the Florida Mutineers, who we just saw earlier today close out a Game 5. The Vegas Legion we saw get a huge W yesterday, and the Boston Breach with a hot 3-0 to start the Stage 2 qualifiers. So a lot of these teams here in that 9-12, they're looking to move their way up. And if you're a team like Seattle Surge sitting at 4th, like Minnesota Røkkr sitting at 5th, LA Thieves sitting at 6th, who are already sitting at losses here in this split, you are worried heading into Boston.
You know, we've talked to some fantastic players, but we have an incredible human who is joining us now. He reminds me of myself playing Warzone, but he did it with a pistol in competitive. Skyz, can we just start there? What were you doing? How does someone get a 4K with a pistol in a pro game?
Honestly, that ladder's broken. Like, I'm not that good. I mean, I am good, but that ladder's just insane. Like, I do it in scrims all the time. People can't hit you. You can't wallbang it. There's like a metal railing at the top of it. Like, they can't wallbang the metal either, so it's like pretty OP. They did it right back to me after that, I think.
Well, okay. Well, congratulations, first up, of the second split. And the most lighthearted way that I can ask you, because you popped off so much in that map 4, what was going on map 1 and map 2? You talk me through it. I believe map 1, you maybe had 5 kills. Map 2, you went 1-10. And then you put on performance like this in game number 4. So what was going on?
I was trying default aim assist. Never again.
No
that was
way.
horrible. I tried it this morning. I was like, dang, I'm frying. I'm beaming. And then the map 2 after the 1-10, I was like, no shot. I'm going back mid-series. I don't care.
Back to
and then
dynamic.
it just felt way better after that, yeah. No, it's not even dynamic. It was the default, and there's Black Ops.
Oh, okay. I want to ask you, so you guys took a risk in this series. You're playing some maps you haven't played with the CDL Search and Destroy, the Embassy Hardpoint. Are you guys trying to expand upon your map pool, or was it just a different game plan versus the Thieves?
Now we were trying to expand our map pool. We were pretty confident in the other map, so we were just gonna see how it goes in the match. And the fact that we won at 10, we won the Silo, God bless. And I felt like we played that pretty good as well.
Skyz, yesterday we were talking with Scrappy from Toronto, and he's saying we've been cooking in scrims, and we feel like, you know, scrims kind of tell the story of how the actual matches have been going. How much time have you guys been putting in since Raleigh? What have you been working on, and how are scrims going?
Scrims are going fantastic. We're doing the same thing we did before Rally, but we're probably doing a little bit more work. We come in early, like an hour and a half. We vibe with each other. We watch over clips. Like, we go over an hour of clips before we even scrim and get on it, so it's like fresh on our memory. But we're probably doing the same thing, if not more.
We got to let you go here soon. Before you leave us, though, can you tell us who's the best singer on the team?
Who's the best singer? Yo, Matt, who sings better, me or you? Whoa, whoa. You do that? I think it's me. I think it is.
I think it is. Chat, show us some love for my man, Skyz. He's going to be on The Voice next weekend, or maybe playing Call of Duty. You'll have to wait and find out. Once again, the Subliners getting a big dub tonight. Skyz, we'll let you go celebrate. Let's talk about the rest of the day, though, because we had 4 matches. The Subliners, one of 4 teams picking up W's. They didn't need it. They were already on top of the leaderboard, but some of the teams that did need it got some wins today as well. Let's take a look at that first matchup. Florida Mutineers going up against the Guerrillas. You got the 9th seed, you got the 11th seed. You gotta move up. And Florida, they had to dig deep to pull out the dub today.
Yeah, it was that reverse sweep and that control. It was that LSCLO that really settled it in for them. And the thing with Florida is, like, you really don't know what version you're going to get. And I'm hoping that they find this consistency behind the player that Havoc is becoming throughout this season. Because when he's on a roll, it feels like so much pressure is relieved off of the shoulders of the rest of the Florida Mutineers, and they look unstoppable. But on the flip side of things, LAG, with the debut of their new roster and the 3 new challenger players, I think they looked solid. I think they will be a contender as we move on throughout the rest of this qualifiers, but they still obviously have a couple of things to figure out before they can be good at the major.
Mutineers, Havoc leads them to another W, and they were just the first to score on our day 2 of online qualifiers for Major 2. Minnesota Røkkr versus Royal Ravens. They both get bopped on day 1. Minnesota cleaning up their game here on day 2, Nameless.
Yeah, you know, still a tough series, though, overall. Like, these guys still did have to battle back after, you know, a tough hardpoint in Search and Destroy loss early on. But, you know, they get the win here. And they look better in Search and Destroy. Finally, they go ahead and they play some Fortress, where they actually executed some pretty good strats. And we got a really big performance out of Afro, which is something that's good for the future of this roster. Still, though, they still need a lot of work. On the flip side of that, when you look at the Royal Ravens in this series, like, aSim had some good moments, but got hard countered by Bance, so it's just been pain on their side. They just can't seem to get a victory, but either way, Røkkr come away with a dub.
London still looking for a W here as we lead into major number 2. Røkkr get the win, and aLLeY, they do it with some food poisoning. Everyone playing at home, they're saying Bance is on the toilet. Everyone's still able to get the job done.
A little TMI there, but yeah, no, I'm hoping for all the Røkkr camp to get better. I know I was probably one of the harshest people on the desk here when it came to their gameplay, even though they pulled out that hard W. Now that I know you all have food poisoning, well, I feel like a jerk, so I'm sorry. But as we move forward, there was a very quick series that happened today, Chris. The 3-0, Atlanta versus Seattle. I think I blinked, and then that match in series was over.
Power bomb.
Yeah, I just sent Simp like some flowers saying thank you for making this one quick. It's back on schedule. I thought we were going to be here till 11:30 tonight. This was supposed to be an epic showdown. Last time, it went to game 5. You look at the seeds, you got number 3 versus number 4. But Atlanta, I'll be honest, probably the most impressive team on the day, despite what we just saw with the clutches from the Subliners.
Absolutely. Atlanta looked ridiculous. It's the FaZe that I remember from Cold War, just coming in and lighting you up in Search and Destroy. aBeZy popping the first bloods. They're just flying at you. You're never able to get any control of the map, and the same thing happened moving into that control, where Simp just had that crazy 17 streak just popping off with the SMG in his hands. It just felt like the old Tiny Terror duo taking over the game. When you look at Seattle, though, that is so concerning. That's probably the worst loss we've ever seen out of the Surge roster. And right after the major, where you get second, and then Pred is like possibly going to OpTic, it spells danger going forward for this team. So we'll keep a close eye on Surge in the weeks to come.
You can't break up my Sim Pred combo. I'm not letting it happen. Surge, hold strong. You got some time to clean up your game, but tomorrow we get our first look at the brand new OpTic Texas going up against the Boston Breach, who looked ferocious with Awakening. Owakening back in the lineup. That is my matchup of the day, but a lot of good ones here. What else are you excited for?
I'm excited for the West Coast battle, the LA Guerrillas versus the LA Thieves, which I think after seeing both these teams today, that will be a game 5 for sure.
Yeah, that one's gonna be pretty good. Make sure to get your pick'ems in as well. My pick'ems today weren't too great, honestly. FaZe, they were good for it, but everybody else.
I'm 3 for 4. Let's go.
3 for 4 on day 2, 3 for 3 on day number 1. I'm betting with aLLeY in the future, as well as my man iTancha. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, and make sure to join us tomorrow. We're starting at the same time, 2:45 for headquarters. Matches kick off at 3 p.m. Eastern. Be there, be square, be something else. I don't know. See you then.
You cannot stop us. A force to be reckoned with. I don't recommend you try. I'm feeling charged up. Energized. I know my passion and purpose gon' take me higher. I'm feeling charged up. I'm feeling charged up.